ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So today we are going to discuss from Bhagavad Gita second chapter and verse number 11. Verse number 11 we discussed Sri Bhagavan Vacha Asochananvatvochastvam Pragyavadam Shabhasase Gatasuna Gatasumsha Nanu Sochanti Pandita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So this is the first verse Krishna spoke to Arjuna. And Krishna declared that because you are in bodily consciousness, material consciousness, so although you are speaking words of wisdom, but this is all nonsense. It does not make any sense because you are still attached on material basis. So you are not a learned person because those who are really learned person, they do not lament over loss or gain of material things, material attachments. So this we discussed. Then next we started this verse 12. Then Krishna is introducing the concept of soul gradually. So in this verse number 12, Krishna has introduced the concept of soul that apart from this body, there is something else which always exists. So Krishna says, Nattu eva aham jatu nasam, natvam na ime janadipaha, na cha eva na bhavishyama, sarve vayamataha param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. In this particular verse, Krishna establishes the fact that we are always in existence, and not just we, but all the living entities, including the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. We always existed as individual beings. We are existing as individual beings, and we will be existing as individual beings. Krishna is establishing this fact, and in this way, in the very first teaching, he is refuting the misconception, Mayavad misconception that there is one individuality and that everything is one. There is oneness. Uh, so this concept of oneness is there in the scriptures that everything is one. But what does it mean? Everything is one on a spiritual platform. Everything is one means everything is Brahman. But there is variety also. But there is individuality also. Just like suppose you are somebody is working in a company or somebody is studying in some college or school. Huh? So so all the members of the company, all the students of that particular college, they can say we are one. All, if you are working in a team, so there is oneness. Oneness means we are one. We belong to this particular company or college. Just like we say we are Indian. So all Indians, they experience this oneness. If there is a match between India and Pakistan, then all the Indians they say we are one. So that means we are one, but at the same time we are individual souls also. Saying that we are one does not make all of us merge together to become one individual soul, one individual person. No, still there is variety. Still there are many hundreds, thousands, millions of people in India, and they all have their individuality. They all have their individual liking and disliking. But on principle, we are one because all of us we are Indian. So similarly, each and every living entity it belong to a spiritual nature, Brahman. So that's why in the scriptures it is said we are one. That concept of oneness is there. Sarvam khalo idam Brahma. That is Eko Brahma Dvityana Asti. Only Brahma is there. There is nothing secondary because everything is coming from Brahma. Brahma means spiritual, spiritual substance. Everything is coming from Brahma, spiritual substance. That is the meaning of oneness. But at the same time, there is individuality also, variety also. Uh, and this Krishna is very emphatically he is establishing this very fact that Natu evaham jatu nasam, my dear Arjuna, although you, myself, and all these kings, we are one because we are a spirit soul. There is no doubt about it. But we have individual personality also. I existed in the past. You also existed, and all these kings, they also existed in the past. We are existing right now also, and we will be. Na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam taha param. So Krishna is telling this in negative sense in order to completely refute the Mayavad misconception, which declares that because everything is one, so there is no individuality. Everything will become merged in one thing. So that is a great misconception. So we already discussed about this concept in our previous class. So now we'll go ahead. We'll read the purport and discuss about it. So Srila Prabhupada is giving so many references from the scriptures which supports this statement of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So specifically, Prabhupada is quoting from Upanishads because all these Mayavadis, Jnanis, followers of Shankaracharya, they do not accept Puranas. They do not accept Bhagavatam also. And sometimes they do not even accept Bhagavad Gita. Even though Sripad Shankaracharya, he has written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And in that commentary also he has given deviated explanations. So that proves that Shankaracharya accepted the version of Bhagavad Gita. But unfortunately, some of the Mayavadis or followers of Shankaracharya, some of them, they do not accept Bhagavad Gita because if they accept Bhagavad Gita, then their philosophy will prove to be wrong. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly explains everything, very clear cut, crystal clear. Krishna explains, Manmana Bhavat Bhakta, become my devotees, surrender unto me. If we are one with the Supreme Lord, how come Krishna is instructing us to surrender? The principle of surrender will be there when there is difference between the person who is surrendering and to the person to whom he is surrendering. There must be difference. Then only there will be principle of surrender. To become devoted, to serve, to love. That means this proves all these things prove that we have individuality. How can you love somebody if you are one with him? So, principle on a spiritual platform, we are one. All the devotees are one with Krishna, but still there is individuality. That's how there will be reciprocation. Otherwise, how is it possible to have reciprocation? The love can be experienced in two person. If there are no two person, if one personality is there, how can one experience love? Loving exchanges means talking to each other and serving each other, doing some kind of sacrifice for each other. So that loving, that sacrifice, then that reciprocation and service attitude will be only manifested when there are at least two persons. You know? Only one person, how he can love himself and serve himself? That's not possible. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly explains these things that you love me, you think of me, you serve me, you become my devotee. That means we are we are not one with the Supreme Lord. We are one. We are one in spiritual sense. We are one with the desire in terms of desires. Our desires are aligned with the Supreme Lord. Whatever Krishna desires, we desire that. Whatever Krishna wants, we want. We want to do that. So in that sense, we are one with the Supreme Lord. We are one with Krishna. But as far as individuality concerned, a devotee, he has his own individual personality so that he can serve the Supreme Lord. So these things are there in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So, but some of the Mayavadis, because of their foolishness or because of their unfortunate situation, they cannot accept. That's why Krishna, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is mentioning some of the Upanishads. He's quoting from Upanishad in order to prove this. It's specifically Katha, Shvetashvatara Upanishad and Katha Upanishad. In the Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Because Upanishad, nobody can deny the authority of Upanishad. Upanishads and Vedas, these two things are of absolute authority. Nobody can object. Whatever is written, that is absolute truth. Because it has directly come from the Supreme Lord Narayana. It is not the this product or creation of any human being. Of course, all the Puranas, Itihas, Mahabharata, which includes Bhagavad Gita, that is also written or given by Srila Vyasadeva, who is not a human being, but because of foolishness, because of unfortunate situation, Mayavadis they cannot understand, and they think that Ved Vyasi is a human being. So they do not want to accept the Puranas and Itihas and Mahabharata written by Srila Vyasadeva. But they do accept Vedas and Upanishads. So that's why our acharyas, beginning from Sripad Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbark Swami, Vishnu Swami, then later on Sridhar Swami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then all other acharyas, Jeev Goswami, Rup Sanatan Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then recently His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur and our Srila Prabhupada. They all these great acharyas, they have refuted the misconception of Mayavad from Upanishads and Vedas as well. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, she even proved that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same supreme personality of God, absolute truth from Vedas. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is hidden incarnation. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is not mentioned in the scriptures directly. Even in the Puranas also, there are references, but it is mentioned in a hidden form because Channa avatar. Uh, but Srila Bhakti Thakur, she explained from Vedas and Upanishads and proved that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when he proved all the Mayavadis and Jnanis and smart Brahmanas who were not able to accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Lord, they were forced to accept him as the Supreme Personality of God. And then uh, one of the very great Acharya named Srila Jiva Goswami, he has written such a vast amount of knowledge in his writings, specifically Sat Sandarbha, where he has proved everything about the personality of God and about the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, about the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the Supreme Personality of God. So he has written in so logical and so he has quoted from different scriptures. He has given references and proved us so nicely that when a Mayavadi Jnani, she starts reading the scriptures written by Srila Jiva Goswami, she finds himself that he is getting convinced of Vaishnava philosophy. That's why he immediately closes the book and goes away. That is the potency of their right. Srila Bhakti Thakur also wrote. And we are very fortunate. Srila Prabhupada, uh, in his purport, Srila Prabhupada has given references from all those acharyas, which is required for us to understand. So in the Vedas, in the Katha Upanishad, as well as in the Svetasvatara Upanishad, it is said that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of innumerable living entities in terms of their different situations according to individual work and reaction of work. So there are many differences in the Upanishads where it is stated that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, he is the maintainer of all the living entities. That means he is not one or equal with the living entities. That means living entities are not equal or one with the Supreme Lord Narayana. The Supreme Lord Narayana is always the maintainer, and we living entities who are insignificant parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are maintained by him. He always remains predominator, and we are always predominated. He always remains controller, and we are always controlled. We are always dependent upon him. So these things are mentioned in the scriptures, and we can see also with logic. We practically also we can see we are maintained. We are not maintained. We are maintained by the material nature. Our material nature is actually controlled by the Supreme Lord. It is very much clear. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagatvi parivartate. Maya dakshena, my adhyakshena, in my superintendence, suyate sachara prakriti. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sachar acharam. In my superintendence, that means in my controllership, this material nature maintains, creates, maintains char and achar, moving and non-moving kinds of living entities. So this is very much clearly explained in Bhagavad Gita as well. And that is also in the Katha Upanishad, Srutasvatara Upanishad. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also by his plenary portions alive in the heart of every living entity. This is also mentioned in the scriptures. Katha Upanishad, it is said uh, that within this body has been compared as a tree, and within this body, two birds are situated. One bird, and there is difference between these two birds. One bird is the living entity who is enjoying the fruits of the tree of this material body, and the other bird is simply witnessing the activities of the the living entity who is eating the fruits. The other bird, who is super soul, he is not interested in eating the fruits of this material body. He is simply witnessing and helping, providing the other bird, the first bird, who is very much eager to enjoy with this material body. So that is also mentioned in Katha Upanishad. And only saintly persons who can see within and without the same Supreme Lord can actually attain to perfect and eternal peace. That is mentioned in Katha Upanishad in this verse. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman tam atmaistham yanupashyanti dhiras tesham santi sasvati netaresham. So in this verse from Katha Upanishad, this is mentioned. Tam Atma Istham Ye Anupashyanti Dhiras. Tam means that Supreme Lord. Tam refers to that Supreme Lord. Atma Istham, who is present within the heart. Ye Anupashyanti Dhiras. Anyone who can see him like this. How? That he is Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetanam Eko Bhavanam Yuvidhati Kaman. So that kind of sober person, that kind of saintly person, Tesham Santi Shashwati. He attains Shashwati Santi. Only he attains Shashwati means eternal peace, Shanti he attains. Netare Sham, others cannot attain. Nityo, how does he see that kind of saintly person? That means who is actually a saintly person? Who can see Tam Atma Istam, that Supreme Lord, situated within the heart as Nitya Nityanam. Nitya Nityanam means all the living entities are Nitya. Nitya refers to plural living entities, and Nityanam means singular. Nityanam. So Nitya means there are many eternal beings. And Nityanam means there is one eternal being. Chetanas Chetananam. Chetanas means there are many conscious beings, living entities. And Chetananam means there is one conscious being. So this difference is there. So that one eternal being or who is supremely conscious, Eko, that one, Bahunam means many other eternal and conscious beings. Yo Vidadhati Kaman. He, Vidadhati means he takes care, he maintains. Kaman means all the desires, all the needs. So that one supreme eternal being, he takes care or maintains all the desires or needs of their many eternal conscious beings. So in this verse, anyone who can understand this very fact that there is one supreme eternal being who maintains, who supplies, who fulfills the desires and needs of many other eternal beings, one who understands this, one who has this knowledge, uh, that kind of person is known as Hira, and he can attain eternal peace. So that is mentioned Kathopada. So this verse very clearly proves that there are two kinds of living entities. One living entity is supreme living entity, the supreme Lord Narayana. Another living entities are we, eternal. And we are also not one. We are also individual, many individual. That's why this word nityo refers to plural number. In Sanskrit, nityo, plural number. So this is proved in Kathopanishad also. So there is no question of this misconception that oneness of the living entity with the supreme Brahman. There is no oneness. Oneness, of course, oneness is there, but not in a way this Mayavadis they think that oneness, not in that way. Oneness is there in the same way, just like a father may have many children. So all the children are one with the father because the father has produced them, father is maintaining them. So all the children are supposed to abide by the desires or the his orders. But there is always the difference. Father is father, and the children they all are individual beings. So although in the scriptures it is said that son is as good as father, but that does not mean that the son has become father. That is not the meaning. The son is as good as father. That means because father has produced the son, so son will have the similar qualities like the father, because he is produced from his blood, his body, is part and parcel of his body. Similarly, wherever in the scripture this is mentioned that we are one with the Supreme Lord, Supreme Brahman, that is because we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So we have same quality as the Supreme Lord, just like drops of an ocean has the same quality as the ocean. So we can say if you take a bucket of water from the ocean, so that bucket of water is one with the ocean. We can say because the same quality is there. But you cannot say that if you bring one bucket of water from the ocean, you cannot say that I have brought the ocean. Can you say? No. So there is difference also. Just like the sun rays and sunshine and sun are one in the same, because sunshine has also got these two qualities, heat and light, and sun also has got these two qualities, heat and light. Uh, So when you the sunshine when enters into your home through the windows or through the door, so you can say that we are experiencing sun, but you cannot say sun has entered your home. So there is difference also, there is oneness also. So one has to understand it very clearly. Otherwise, one may be misled by this false misconception, foolish nonsense idea that we are, because in the scriptures it is said that, so aham, so we are that, tattvamasi. These are the Vedic versions which these Mayavadis they misunderstand. So aham means I'm like him. I am that. So aham. And tattvam asi means you are that. So these the things are mentioned. That means we are one with the Supreme Lord in terms of qualities, but there is always difference. We cannot claim the potency of the Supreme Lord. He is controller. He maintains the entire universe. Can we? No. Everyone knows that we have not created this material existence and nothing is in our control. We even our mind and senses are not in our control, or to speak of controlling the entire universe. So how can we say that we are one with the Supreme Lord? We are one. So this is nonsense idea. Only a foolish, only a mad person can claim like this, that I'm one with the Supreme Lord, so I'm controlling the universe. There are people who think that we are controlling the universe. If we desire, the universe will go around like us, like our desire. This is all bogus misconception. So one should not be misled by this foolish theory. One should understand this tattva given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva. Okay, so we'll stop here. There's a lot more thing to discuss about this, so we'll discuss it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Is there any question? You can ask. Hare Krishna.